Good afternoon. This is Chris Brecher with the Simpler Stocks free video for April 20th, 2016. It's about 4:03 p.m. Today was all about rally to resistance of the ESs. And basically what we saw in here is that right when it got to that area, we saw the NASDAQ start to sell off. We had some real extreme weakness in a lot of NASDAQ stocks, and we'll get to that in a minute. Wanted to show you this first, is show you the futures today. Where right now the ES is up 8, NASDAQ down 11.25. Big old divergence, and this is prior to right now. Intel has stopped trading prior to their earnings being reported. In fact, their earnings are just getting reported right now, so I'm not sure how these NASDAQ futures are going to finish up, and I'll let you know that when I see it. Russell up 2, bonds down 12, but the big news, at least in my opinion, is this. Transport's up 100. Why are the transports up? Check out the grains today. I keep warning about these grains of seeing some inflation in the pipeline. Soybean up 28, wheat up 12, corn up 350. And because of that, a lot of stocks that are related to that went up today. What do I mean by that? The rails, UNP, way up. Kansas City Southern, way up. You know, Kansas City Southern, just so you know, when we were showing all the rails 2 weeks ago on the premium site, we were showing which one had the best looking chart. We were showing this right here, and we were showing NSC, which actually has acted pretty well, but we were showing this. We were saying, which one should you buy? The one above the moving averages or the one at it? And as you see, one of them's gone up 9 points, one of them hasn't moved. That's what we try to teach on the premium site, and that's the kind of stocks I alert you to. Big thing in here to me is going to be if the DBA, and the DBA, what is that? That is the basket of 10 commodity stocks. As you see in here, I mentioned this a while ago on the Simpler Stocks premium video and on the free, and how eventually that can influence the bonds. Now, as you see on here, if you take in the last couple of days, you see the bonds start to sell off, you see the DBA start to surge. That's the kind of thing bonds do. Long-term bonds hate inflation. If you see that, that could be a big deal. That's number one. Number two in here is some of the stocks in it, and this is how people make money on the premium side. Check out corn on the left. Check out Deere on the right. I brought this up before Deere went up. Basically, corn, because of the crop report back here, got murdered. So did Deere. Well, corn now made a new high. I'm like, this is ridiculous. You got to buy Deere around 78. Stock was up $4 today. Whole idea is, why did Deere go down? Because of corn. Corn comes back, Deere should come back, and I can't believe it worked perfect. So it just busted out today. Look at the relation between corn and Deere on how both, when this popped up above its 200, so did this. Just unbelievable on how correlated they actually worked. So really interesting. We show these kind of creative ideas all the time. You're watching the grains go up. What else goes up on that? Contrary to every friggin' analyst on Wall Street, the last week has downgraded potash. The stock was up 10% today. I've been warning about this. High or low, talking about that if the grains go up, potash is going to go up. Why? Because farmers can afford more fertilizer. Look at AGU, one of my favorite in the space. Look at this reversal, 80.5 to 87 in 3 days. That was another one we picked in there. Here's another one, CF. Every analyst downgraded it under 30. It's now up 10% in a week. Those are the type of things we try to show in there. A couple of other things that worked great. Before the opening, I post charts where I show what I think is going to happen during the day. I show actually index charts for a whole sort of a holistic idea of everything. I like to show charts that'll be in the news. Before the opening today, I showed Goldman Sachs. I'm not going to show you what it looks like intraday yet, but on the chart I said this. In fact, I'll show you my actual post, so you know I have just my credibility on the line here. So I'm sort of half kidding on that because you can't go on every trade, of course. But this is what I want to show you. Here's Simpler Stocks. This is what I post every morning. This morning I posted some early longs, some earnings this week, and GS earnings this morning. Look what I posted this, 6:51 a.m. prior to the earnings. Then go in there and see what I posted in here. And I said in a strongly trending market like we have now, stocks with bad news can go up. Note the lack of resistance in Goldman Sachs up to 175. Now this is prior to the earnings. Now watch what happens today with the earnings. Check this out. We're going to go back here. Earnings. There you go. And check what it did today. It had a 7-point rally from the lows. And when we were on the premium chat, which we're doing right now from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern, which includes the opening, we were talking about you got to buy GS, on the opening, and it worked. A lot of people made money on that one. Those are the type of things that we show. As you see in here, there's not a lot of resistance in Goldman Sachs until up to here. That's why I posted it in the first place. And in this type of environment, what happens is instead of bad earnings hurting a stock, everybody says, oh, I guess the bad news is out and that's in the rearview mirror. You have to look ahead. That's the kind of attitude change we have in this type of environment. So a couple of other things you'll want to know on here. Let's go back and I want to show you what I'm talking about with actual simpler stocks. We go over the chat like I mentioned in here. Let me get it up here so you know. Other thing in here I want you to see is we have about once a week, really every 10 days, we go over and I have seminars that are free. Tomorrow I have 3 ways to trade the same setup webinar. Basically what we're going to do is we're going to look at something like Goldman Sachs. And if you thought it was going up, do you have to just buy stock? Could you have sold puts? Could you have bought a call spread? I'm going to show you a number of ways you can trade the same thing. Aggressive, neutral, and conservative. So we're going to do that. The reason I'm showing this webinar is, number one, I usually go on for about 15 minutes, or I say I am, and then we seem to go on for like an hour. But we have it structured in there for 45 minutes. It's $7. Your trial includes this. We have these free webinars all the time. If you go to our learning center and you go to the video series, you'll see we have one on MACD, ATR, moving averages, bull and bear flags, and so on. And then the 6th one is going to be this. Basically, these are all free. If you click on these, as you see on here, it goes to the whole webinar. And then what we're doing in here to combine it, we have a quiz and a guide. So we're really trying to teach you how to do all this and how to go, run with the ideas and the learning I'm teaching you. And like I said, all of this is included in your trial or if you convert into the monthly membership. So I hope you can take advantage of the $7 trial. Like I said, you sign up, you get to be a participant in the seminar tomorrow. So like I said, it's a free seminar. It's free to everybody that's a member. So I hope you can take us up on this. Everybody have a great night. Looking forward to talking to you tomorrow.